This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Hey, this is Brian Sebastian. This is Movie Reviews and More. And as usual, we're live on a Tuesday night. And I've been looking forward to this show, not because of Victoria, not because of Tosh, not because of Terry, Rachel, Jeffrey, but because of Howard Wiggins. No, I'm only kidding. I look forward to everybody. Everybody's important on this show. So here we are broadcasting worldwide on over 103 outlets as usual. So, vocally Tosh, singer-songwriter, all-out hip girl from Miami, Florida, the only one. Another Tasha's Rose. All the way from Houston, Texas. Rachel Roberts Recipes and her soon-to-be Rachel Roberts Recipe Show, which we look forward to seeing. And she's good. She looks really good today. I know she's really, really happy. All the way from Redondo Beach, California. I enjoy talking to my sister. Yes, she's my sister. We argue back and forth all the time, but I know how to calm her ass down. I definitely do know how to do that. From Nashville, Tennessee, I've been talking about Howard for a long time. So, former designer, but he's still a current designer because he just looks good no matter how many 103 rooms that he's in. He says he only has 4, but I don't believe it. I believe he lives in 2 mansions put together because he's never in the same room, and he's not. And then, from Colorado, I like this guy. So, award winner. He's an author, he's an attorney, he's a speaker. He has a bunch of things that I'm going to talk about later, but I like this book. I've read a little bit of it, not the full thing yet, just a little bit of it. The one and only Jeffrey Kass, but it's called the Rona Diaries, World.Two Pandemics. And the reason why that's interesting, he's going to explain it later. And then Linda Steele's coming on next because you know why? She wanted to hook up to one of her favorite performers. You didn't notice, Victoria. Linda Steele is a huge fan of yours. She asked to come out specifically because you're coming on tonight. Now, I can never get Victoria on the phone anymore because she's grown so much. She has over 12 million views. Terry has over 3 million views. My 2 original co-hosts, singer-songwriter, dancer. What she doesn't know, what you girls don't know, is that she performed when she was a little kid. I actually slept in her bed at her house in Indianapolis. Yes, I hung out with her mom. That's a whole nother show, but we're going to get there. But she performed in New York just recently and didn't tell anybody, but I was glad to see what she did on that stage because my friend invited you to go. Michael Mendenhall. You didn't know I knew Michael, Victoria, did you?
Oh, wait.
And then, of course I know Michael. Michael's coming on our show pretty soon. So here's the other thing about that. She sang at the NAMM convention on this beautiful stage. And the reason why I mention these things because she won't talk about these things. And the one and only Terry interviewed her. Here's the thing. The one and only Victoria Renee Hand.
Oh my God, that was so kind. Thank you so much, Brian. And I'm so excited to see Miss Steele come on. I don't know if you saw my big yes when I heard she was joining us. But yeah, I'm really excited to be on the show, and thank you for having me. I haven't seen you guys in a while, and everybody looks great. Howard, we haven't met, but you look great.
I met you when I had lunch with Edie and your daughters in Memphis.
With Edie? What? Really?
Yeah. Edie Hand, I was eating, and you came by and dropped off her nieces. Yeah.
Were you in Nashville?
I was in Memphis eating with Edie.
That would be why it threw me off. Normally, I only.
Jeff, here's the thing about Victoria. She doesn't remember a lot of things, and then she'll go, "Oh yes." Then she will remember.
I remember conversations. Oh, I always remember conversations.
But here's the thing. I'm going to start off. Victoria, hold on. You got a lot of stuff to talk about. Jeffrey, I got to talk about you first because the world is in a whole different way. Talk about your book, why it's important, how you ended up at Chef Rachel Roberts' house. I have no idea, but that's where we connected. He had these fly sneakers that I thought were cool. Someone else didn't, but I liked them. And I said, I'm going to have you on the show because he has a lot to talk about. And the fact that he's that diverse attorney, I think that's important these days. Go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead.
Well, my latest book just came out right now, which is Black Fat Woman versus White Jesus. And during the coronavirus whole episode that we were all going through, I also wrote a diary of everything that was happening. Everything from toilet paper shortages and reflecting back on when I was a kid and saw my first bidet and like, no way I wanted water squirted up my butt, and now I'm considering buying one. And then George Floyd happens, and then diving deep into racial justice issues. I've been a racial justice advocate since I was a teenager, and in fact, this latest book that I just put out is really a collection of essays aimed at resolving kind of why are we still talking about race issues all these years later after the Civil Rights Act and all the efforts. And really it talks about kind of why good people are still acting out in bad ways. And so I delve into something that we talk about, but we don't really know what it is. And that's unconscious bias, that we're fed like a steady diet of images from advertising and movies and different things. And we know that black cats are bad and black magic bad and black this is bad. And we know that white is purity and white lies are even good lies. And those things by themselves sound silly, but then you pile them on and it starts to impact us like anything. Like we grew up, if our parents yelled a lot, it's going to impact us on an unconscious level on how we react to yelling in the world or who we choose as partners. Well, it's the same thing with race. And so this latest book is really geared at kind of diving into those issues. I mean, I have everything from essays in there called Black Barbie, How Society's Images Shape Our Views of Color. And it kind of talks about the history of dolls. Jews are the best lawyers. It's another one, why positive stereotypes can actually turn negative. I've got, even things about how we deal with trauma. I have the invention of the black race, because race is really just a social construct invented by people. There's actually not a lot different between us biologically. I just get into all kinds of issues, how words matter. We talk about diversity, but diversity actually means all of us. It doesn't mean just a few groups of people, and how important it is to have all voices at the table. I write about why it's not healthy to cancel people with different ideas, but it really is all aimed at the same thing, which is bringing people together. In fact, probably one of my most favorite things in there, I wrote, "This is not your grandfather's Saudi Arabia." And I, as a Jewish man, actually went to Saudi Arabia by myself at the invitation of some nice Arab men that I met in Denver coffee shops. And I was treated like a king in Saudi Arabia, and I was shown around, and I had just an amazing time. And once you break bread with people and share coffee with people and you're not talking politics, then when you want to talk about something serious, it comes from a place of love, and you can listen and learn from each other. And so that's really my approach. We all heard about social distancing, and I came up kind of with a brand name, End Racial Distancing, which really involves making our after 5 p.m. spaces more inclusive, rather than just going to lunch or grabbing happy hour with people, but opening our homes to people who are different than themselves, to kind of help eradicate the unconscious bias that we have towards each other.
And that's one of the reasons why I chose 5 p.m. West Coast time to do the show, even though I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina right now. That's why I chose that, because I wanted it to be a worldwide time where everybody around the world will chime in, and we do have that audience. I'm very, very happy about that. And when it comes to this, Rachel is a very, very good mom. I'm really proud that I got a chance to know her and hang out with her. And yes, I'm coming back, whether I want to or not, Rachel. I know I'm coming back. But it's one of these things where I got a chance to see how she interacts with her child. And Jeff, what you're talking about, that's very, very important. I got a chance to see when I was in Indianapolis a couple years ago talking to Victoria's mom. I know things about Victoria that never will see the light of day. But the fun thing about it, but the thing about that is it's fun I'm going to go there in a minute then, but it's fun to see about all of us. I wanted this to be multiracial from generations, different cities. I never wanted to be in Los Angeles, and the one place that we all tend to get together is where Nashville, Tennessee. Howard, again, going back to Rachel. If it weren't for Howard, I mean, Rachel, I wouldn't have met Howard. Rachel really saw something in Howard with that. Howard, I love the onion. And then Jeffrey, so when it comes to Howard, a former designer, interior designer, but he's just a classy guy. I love what he doesn't look bad at anything, put it that way. And then with Tosh, when she came on from another friend of mine, it was one of those things where whether we were all rejects or whatever the case were, we all got a chance to get along. And it worked. And I'm so proud of that. Go ahead, Rachel, you're going to say something.
Oh, well, first of all, I'd like to apologize to Jeffrey because I had no idea that, this whole, I didn't know about all the stuff that you wrote about. And when you came over to my house, just to be honest, I totally judged your ass because you are so weird. He came in with these shoes with diamonds all over him. And I looked at him and I was like, well, this guy's just a flat out freak. And I mean,
I liked him.
I never even gave him the time of day. I was like, I don't even know what to say to all that. But now I know you better, and I know about some of the things you write about, and now I'm just captivated. So I'm so interested.
Are you giving me fashion advice from Texas?
Even the glasses.
That'd be great. What?
This has already taken such an awesome turn. I'm so excited for the rest of this.
Jeff, I love you. I'm really excited about reading Black Batwoman, White Jesus. I guess I won't get a role in that film.
I want to see those diamonds.
Mm-hmm. It sounds really good. I can't wait. And Victoria, it's great to meet you. I'd love to hear your voice. I hope you, whenever we have somebody that comes on that can sing, I'm always hopeful that they'll, because when I do it, people are like, oh,
well, listen, I just never stop. I'll just eventually just start singing. And I was walking.
I always put her on the spot anyhow. She knows that, especially when we're in studio.
Yeah, Victoria and I met at Celebrity Connected on the red carpet, right?
Yeah, I just instantly became obsessed with you. I'm just like, who are you? You make this way fun. Red carpets can be intimidating, and Terry's really good at making you feel like you're just having a conversation, which we were.
Thank you.
So,
yes, we were.
Yeah,
yeah, I got to interview at NAMM too. Remember when you performed at NAMM? I got to interview you. That was fun. That was so exciting to see you perform, singing, garbage songs. Was Only Happy When It Rains, right?
Happy When It Rains. I was singing that song because Shirley was from Garbage was being honored. So
yes.
I had to cover her song in front of her. It's terrifying, but it was awesome.
She's really cool though. I got to talk to her for a while. I got some pictures with her, but I love her. She was amazing.
Well, when I got off stage, we started talking and she was like, congratulations. I'm like, congratulations to me. You're congratulating me. You congratulations. Like, she's just so down to earth and humble and grateful for everything. It was awesome to meet your heroes.
Yeah, that was a fun night.
It was. NAMM's always such a big production. And my favorite part, one of my favorite parts was got to sing with Beyonce's house. Now that's hard to top.
Wow.
Beyonce's house.
Yeah, they're Celebrity Connected. Here we are with Brian.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I've worn that outfit since then. I forgot about it.
Time for it out.
Oh my gosh. I love it.
Talk about why St. Jude's is important, and Victoria Renee, obviously A Better Tomorrow, and Edie Ann.
Sure, of course.
Look at that. That's beautiful.
Oh, such a beautiful.
Thank you. So A Better Tomorrow is a song that I created and sang and I co-wrote and it just sort of was this organic vibe that just spewed out with my friend LB, and she's so awesome. Props to her too. And I got to perform that song at NAMM, and the proceeds go to St. Jude's Children's Hospital, and it's currently playing 13 times an hour on CNN, which is how Michael found me. Right. So, yeah, but, oh, by the way, that was 4 years after I created it. 4 years.
So what you don't know is last year at CES is I ran into Michael. I was wearing my Walt Disney red jacket that he created. Because for everybody who doesn't know, he used to work with Walt Disney. He created, that's why that jacket that I have is a collector's item. And I was telling him about you, I was telling him about Terry and Rachel at that point. And then Tosh, because I want to put him in front of a lot of people. And then now that we know Howard, he's going to find Howard fascinating. So that'll be interesting.
Howard. Michael is just everything. I mean, he's so kind, and he's just like has this fantastic, just over the top persona that I'm just impressed with him so on. I can't believe you know him. How did that happen?
He came up to me. I was interviewing a couple people on a live show at CES, and he goes, "Where did you get that jacket?" I go, "They gave it to me at Disney." He goes, "I created that jacket. It's a collector's item. Don't ever let anybody have it." And ever since, I told you guys, girls, January 3rd, someone wanted to buy that jacket, and if he reaches out to me, I'll sell it to him. I might even just give it to him.
Really?
Jeffrey, talk about this.
You work here with Steve Jobs. You know Steve Jobs used to work at Disney.
Yeah.
My dad worked at Disney.
Okay, I guess I'm just a dum-dum.
Brian, you know my dad worked at Disney for 30 years.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever met him, but who
He
knows?
ran the printing department. He was the director of corporate print. He ran the whole printing department. So
For the whole
So all the printing that Disney did went through my father.
Hey, Jeff, I'm going to ask you a question, then I'm going to open it up to everybody. Hey, talk about this. Why is this book important today? And then why are you blacker than I am?
Well, I'm definitely not blacker than you. I do own.
You are. You are.
I do
You
own mirrors in my.
You walked in and made me look like I was white trash. You look stylish.
I own mirrors. It actually reminds me in college when I minored in Black Studies at Ohio State, and somebody was introducing me to a friend. He goes, "Oh, this is the coolest white boy." And I got home that night because I'm Jewish and I never really considered myself white. And I just looked at my hand. Oh my gosh, I'm white. And so, listen, this is important because we can have in this country 5 billion programs to help move the ball forward on diversity, inclusion, and equity, and all of those things. But if all of those programs continue to be administered by you and me and everyone else who suffers from such deep unconscious, and I really call it race trauma, if we grow up and you're not exposed to different people, and we live in a very after 5 p.m. segregated society where it's the most intimate parts of our life, and we grow up, world history in my high school did not mention Africa except for apartheid because that was in the news at the time. We think of, I have this thing on Instagram where I post pictures of cities in Africa. I go, guess where this is? And usually people are like, is that Portugal? Is that when we have these ideas about Africa, we have these ideas. I mean, even this stereotype about Black men being angry or violent in this country. If you spend any time in the communities, you realize there was only one group of people during COVID who refused to fist pump me. It was Black men. They're like, I'm still hugging you, Jack. Because it's the opposite of the stereotype. I mean, and so this book is important. Black Batwoman versus White Jesus. I would just tell you how it got its title. There's an essay in there that goes by, that's the title of the essay. But when a Black woman was playing Batwoman, the world of, I'm not involved in the world, but the world of people in those comic book were outraged. Batwoman is not Black. And of course, we all know that Batwoman's actually fictional, so she's not anything except what we call her. But those same people, we had no problems with putting pictures of Michelangelo's Jesus on our walls all these years when we know darn well Jesus is from the Middle East. So at best he's olive skinned, and at worst he's darker. I mean, it's just the ideas we have in our head about people, they unfortunately impact our behavior. And so it's important to unravel these. I mean, I really don't I focus a lot on the Black community because frankly, they suffer the most in this country, but I also focus on ideas we have about Muslims, ideas we have about Jews, and just try to unravel it so people can start to unwind from their childhood. And honestly, the vaccine, sorry to be controversial here, but the vaccine or the cure for this, the medicine for this is really, you either have to read tons of essays and learn about it, or you need to change your after 5 p.m. spaces. And so that's why this book, it gets into both of those aspects of curing what ails this country.
Well,
Just
speaking.
question.
Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead.
I just want to know, were you ever like a stand-up comedian? Because I get a lot of humor from you, and I wonder.
I actually did stand up, so like comedy competitions from like maybe 18 in college through about 12 years ago, and I sort of sensed society starting to take a turn for being offended at everything that everybody says, which I don't think is healthy. I thought, for example, the movie You People was hilarious, even though so many people were, they didn't respond to these stereotypes. I'm like, relax, it's comedy. And so I stopped because I really didn't need somebody picking up the phone one day and calling my law firm, where I'm a partner at a major U.S. law firm, and saying, do you know what he said on stage? And then I'm no longer a lawyer, so I stopped doing it. But I do infuse into my writing.
I was going to ask that if you can see that in your books.
Yes. I mean, it's important that we laugh at each other and ourselves.
Not take everything so seriously.
I mean, I have an article I just wrote recently called Jews and Their Bagels. And it really, is about, though, what each of us culturally bring to the table, Black, Jewish, Asian, gay. It's an article about that. But when I brought over lox and bagels to one of my best friends, who's a Black man in Denver, and he had never tried it. I go, how can you have one of your best friends is Jewish and never tried lox and bagels? He goes, that's your fault. You never introduced me. And then he tried it and he goes, this texture is really weird. And to which I responded, just in comedy, I said, listen, chitlins aren't exactly the best texture either. So we can laugh with each other, and it brings people closer, I think, if it's taken away.
No, and that's why we usually have Rachel cooking for us, because I can't cook like Rachel does, but she can, and I can't sing like Victoria and like Tosh can, which is, I think, fabulous. But everybody has their own thing, and I definitely can't dress like Howard does. I mean, he took me, to go to Manuel's.
Jeffrey, you're on to something, my friend. Your style, I'm into it. 2 different looks, really good, really good.
Yeah. Jeffrey, we were laughing about you for weeks after you left. You were like the story of like.
But Texas is not. I mean, who from Texas has the right to laugh at other people?
and Rachel will tell you, I was defending you because I like Jeffrey. I thought he was cool. I liked him. I still like him.
You know what? I have pictures from that. I would have known, figured it all out. I would have sent those into DJ. Right now, we could be looking at those shoes.
She is making fun of, just so we're clear, and I should go up to my closet and bring them down.
Yes.
She's making fun of some beautiful Christian Louis Vuitton tennis shoes that have spikes.
Go get those sneakers. We're gonna talk to Victoria.
Shoes.
Go get them.
I'm going to get them.
Go get the
Red are my favorite.
Shoe cam. Everybody, show us your shoes. And Terry, go get your shoes. I want to see those.
I literally have no
those
shoes.
Heels that are like this tall.
You'll see my bare foot. It ain't pretty.
Hey, so Tosh, I've been wanting you to meet Victoria for a couple of years now. So when you finally met her last year.
Yeah. Oh my God, I was going to say, literally today is 1 year since I went to LA for that whole week. So
yeah,
no way.
Yes, it's been a year. That's insane.
I'm so weirded out. Like, my whole construct of time is distorted. I don't.
Yeah.
All right, Jeffrey, show us those shoes.
Those are great. I love those.
Don't put them down. Hold on. Let's wait. Picture.
Hey, Howard. Howard, what do you think about those shoes? They belong in Howard's house.
I can top that if you want me to go get another shoe.
No, we didn't get a warning. We had no
We're
warning.
gonna have a shoe competition.
Come on, get my shoe.
No warning.
Oh.
I had this party in Houston, and my girlfriend came over and brought Jeff as a date, and she didn't even tell us that she's bringing over Super Freak. So all we know is she's bringing a guy, and she said he was like, he's a lawyer, he's like an author, he's funny. He comes in and he's dressed like with those shoes, and like other things were. He had colors everywhere, and
those shoes are great. Rachel,
I love it.
I'll be right back. I have to tell you guys a pair of boots.
Okay, here's those shoes.
Hey, Victoria, talk about.
Okay, I'm gonna guess. Gosh, I love that picture of you when you were little. That was so cute.
Oh, that was cute, actually.
The little reel that I did. Yeah, I was looking at my old pictures, like when I was a baby, and I was like, maybe I should do little reel.
Since we're doing shoes, here, Rachel.
Oh my God!
Oh,
Those are hot.
Wow. Those are good.
Yeah. These are really stylish. You gotta have some pink Gucci's.
It's like a really short dress.
Put it on.
Yeah.
All right,
I
so
am
Howard.
wearing sweatpants right now.
Hey, Howard.
Yes, sir.
Howard, tell the audience what you do. Tell Jeff what you've created in the past and what you're doing now as that dancer with 156,000 views and still climbing.
I danced to James Brown. Brian put it up on YouTube, so it's getting a lot of views. And then you're talking about the doll?
Yeah, just you in general, what you do.
What I do? I'm an ex-interior designer, and I'm now into movies. I'm going to be making a movie called Who's Going to Take Care of Me? And I'll play the emergency room doctor. And then I got news the other day about that secret thing that I've been talking about. It's not just a line in the movie, it's an episode in the TV show. So it's going to be bigger than I thought it was. So anyway, so hopefully that's coming up soon, because I saw a text where my agent asked the producer, so I actually know who the producer is now. And what my lines were going to be. He says, it's not lines, it's a whole episode. So
that's awesome
for you.
Great. So you're guest starring. You're not co-starring. That's great.
Exactly.
Which is backwards from what you would think, right? People usually think, oh, it's a co-star that's higher ranked than a guest star, but it's not. It's backwards, right?
Yeah.
That was confusing to me.
Well, the guest star, I guess, is what the episode's about, because I'm coming in.
Yeah. You're like you're the whole big meaty piece of this. That's a big deal. Those are really hard to come by. That's awesome.
And
Who's
Victoria,
your agent?
If you knew who it was, you'd be amazed. It's a big.
I'm already amazed by you. I am. Like, I'm. It's all coming back to me, and like, there's no way that I would forget a face like that.
So here's the thing: when we go back, if I go back in March, things are changing. But if we go back to Tennessee in March, Victoria's coming with us based on her schedule. Because I always wanted to go, but she's platformed into a whole different genre now, all the things that she's doing. Not only does she have her song Monster, she's got other things that she's been doing. But here's what she started. So you were Miss Coed Teen 5 times in a row and something else silly like that 2 times in a row. And the other thing about that, her room, I saw her room. My God, she had her cheerleading thing in here and then a bunch of things in here. And her mom was so proud. Yeah.
Oh, it was from high school. Yeah. Well, I did pageants growing up because not for pageants. It was just the only platform I could find at the time to sing because they had a singing competition. I'm like, all right, sign me up. That's all I wanted to do was just singing. And then, I got into the whole kits and caboodle of the thing. It was really fun. It's actually not as it has a negative connotation, but it really shouldn't, because 9 out of 10 of those pageants are really good for getting girls lifelong skills and lifelong friends that they would never have normally had otherwise. Teaching people how to speak in public, teaching people how to conduct themselves like a lady. Not that I follow that at all, but like I did learn how, you know. It was a really good experience for me, and I'm grateful for the stage time and the opportunities that ended up coming from those experiences.
Wow. I cannot say that I had the same experiences. I remember one girl flushed another girl's dress down the toilet and all sorts of things.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. Put her in the toilet, and she was about to go up on stage. It was a whole hot mess. Wow.
Things are different in Texas.
Okay.
So
Cosmetics. What are we looking at now?
Like real serious. Texas,
Hey,
like the yeah.
I'll let you finish your story in a minute, but you and Terry get to talk about Stare Cosmetics finally. Talk about it. Go ahead.
Okay, what is that?
I'm wearing Stare Cosmetics right now. Not joking. This purple eyeliner, Stare Cosmetics. Finger guns. Love it.
Talk about why you like it, because I even like it as that base. And talk about
I want some. I want to try it.
Okay,
I'll tell you why. It's the best. Because I love it so much because their black is so black and it feels like a gel when it goes on. It's my favorite thing. It's just like a little inkier than anything I've ever tried before. And it has like, it doesn't smudge, but it also has moments of where you can, what's that word? Move it around before it's set. It's the best I've ever used. Their black eyeliner is the best eyeliner I've ever used.
And I like it because it makes me look 10 years younger.
Victoria,
it does, Jeff.
And I like it because
not mine.
I like it because advertising is too often only featured lighter skinned black models, and this one happened to feature a darker skinned black model, which I noticed right away because that's sadly not the norm. But it's good to see some companies are embracing beauty of all types.
That's important, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons when I'm looking for these things, I want everybody to have stuff. There's makeup that Dr. Asani has given us that Rachel likes, and Rachel gets to talk about that, and I'm going to make sure, Howard, it's on the way, because I told him. All right, Rachel, you get to talk about everything. Go ahead.
Howard, look.
Don't drink the whole bottle.
Howard was drinking one of these a day.
Yes,
I have my water too.
I was in the car and I looked in the mirror. I'm getting black in my beard. So it does turn your hair dark.
That's happening to my dog.
I can see Jeff's head spinning as a joke was coming.
Yeah, right? It makes you turn black.
I wasn't born with a body part called the filter, so I'm trying my best.
I want it. Where do you get it?
Nice cocktail.
We'll get it for you, Victoria.
Yes.
All right, Rachel, you get to talk about that. You get to talk about what makes Rachel's recipes unique and your katsu. Go ahead.
Okay, so my whole thing is eat clean, drink a little dirty. One of these days, the book is going to come out. And, you know, I live by that. I like to eat clean and I like to drink a little dirty, but not a whole bottle of this, Howard. Do not drink.
That's too dirty.
You get 3 ounces. All right. So anyway, I like to grow things. Not right now. My garden is shit, but excuse me. But you know what? It's all good. Yeah. So, and I'm doing a cooking show. I've got Jimmy Allenstein, a guy, that's my director producer. He comes in from LA and he cracks up and he watches me and he's like, I don't know. I mean, I see you in the movies. He's like, you're crazy. You're jumping around. You're like all over the place. I mean, and he's like, yeah, I don't know what I like more, the cooking or being behind the camera, but I'm having a really good time. So that's
Rachel, when is that gonna happen? Like, do you have
we're in the shooting process right now. We've shot 3 episodes and he's coming back here at the end of the month because we've been invited to the rodeo with my favorite musician, Johnny Falstaff, and his girlfriend, Kimberly. So we're going to go out. Yeah, we're going to go out there with them on Saturday at the end of the barbecue cook-off and we'll sneak in and say that we're press. We're gonna like hold some equipment. And we're gonna take some, footage.
Fake it till you make it.
What?
I know what Victoria likes to eat, Rachel. She would love your food. I've seen Victoria eat.
I would love to try your food. I'm such a foodie. Not in the sense that like I try like I'll try anything. I will. I'll try it once.
Yeah.
But, like I just love food so much. It's like the way of. It's one of the best ways of communicating with other people, like of having a shared experience with someone, right? I'm like, yo, eat what I'm eating so we can both like experience this together. And now I feel more connected to you.
That's definitely my love language. Yes.
Jeff, you had fun. You had fun eating her food, Jeff, didn't you?
Well, cooking's my favorite hobby, but what I used to do with my kids is I would cook a food from, let's say, Cameroon or Sri Lanka, and then I would teach my kids about the country at the table. And in fact, years ago when my daughter was like in 3rd or 4th grade, they were learning something about the former Soviet Union, and the teacher mispronounced the country Azerbaijan, and my daughter raised her hand and said, "Excuse me, it's pronounced Azerbaijan." And the teacher says, "I'm sorry, you know this how? My father just cooked a meal from that country." And so it was just kind of like, it goes with the theme of my passion, which is kind of learning about each other and breaking down ideas. And food is definitely one of the best ways to do that.
Absolutely.
You're so
Absolutely.
awesome.
And Rachel took the night off, or else she'd be showing her food. But she usually does. But she took the night off, and she deserves that. All right, Tosh, you got to tell Victoria what makes you unique and why you've been doing. And you performed in Times Square. You got to tell her about that, because I've been telling her about you anytime I get a chance to get her on the phone, which is never these days.
Yeah, that was such a unique experience for me. It was last year in July for the summer, right in Times Square. It was for Wonderama. We were filming season 7. So it's already it's been coming out, but my episode hasn't aired yet. It's going to air sometime this year. But it was honestly such a nerve-wracking experience. And it was a moment where I was like, you know what? I'm so damn proud of where I'm at. In the past 2 years that I've really been going at, my music. So Jeff, I do urban Latin. It's all Spanish music.
Nice.
And that's what I really love, the passion that the Hispanic culture, you just feel it through the rhythms, the beats. So all of my music is very upbeat, lots of positive moments, really fun moments too. And the greatest thing about my music is that you don't even have to know Spanish. Honestly, you just gotta really be with the vibe. And that's you just want to dance, you want to be happy, you want to be with people that you love. So yeah, I actually booked my first show for the year.
Cool.
Next week I'll be singing down in South Miami in a brewery place, so that will be interesting. I'm the only Spanish act, so I'll be the opening up the show, so it'll be some caliente a fuego coming out. But yeah, I'm honestly super happy. I've been working on a lot of new music, and I had a question for you, Victoria, because last week I was telling Brian I was very frustrated because I started this new song, and then nothing that I was writing or singing, I didn't really like anything, so I got super frustrated, and I kind of just turned off my whole self. And then the question I was gonna ask you is have you ever had those? Obviously you probably have had moments where you're are blank. So what do you do to get back into that creative groove? Do you give yourself hours or maybe a day in between? How do you work through that?
Honestly, sometimes you're inspired and sometimes you're not. But, actually an interviewer asked Hemingway how he gets inspired to write every single day. And he goes, I sit down at my desk at 9 a.m. and I make myself. Sometimes if you just start writing, it'll come to you. But it happens to me at least usually once during a songwriting process, and I just stop and I get up and I walk out for a second and I come back in. I pace too. I walk back. I think better when I'm moving, for some reason. So I don't know if you're like that, but sometimes when I'm trying to write something, I'm like, that's not it. Like if I'm vacuuming or doing something else, sometimes it'll just spew out. I'll be like, get my voice memo, blah, 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 you know, put it down right now. Because if you don't, you'll forget, even if you tell yourself you won't.
Literally all my voice notes on my phone, I have probably like 10 gigabytes of just voice notes of random things that I start singing. I'm like, where do I put all this? Like, where does this all fit?
You should prepare voice notes someday and come up with like a collab. Right?
Literally, that would be really funny hearing all that. And then eventually to make a song.
Oh, not a collab with all of our voice notes. Some of those should not see.
You never know. Hey, there's a lot of crazy things in music that become like actually that people really love.
And then sometimes I'll write something and I'll be like, I love this. This is great. And I'll come back to it and be like, what was I doing? This is terrible. And then sometimes backwards, I'll be like, this is dumb. This isn't going anywhere. I'll come back and listen and be like, now hold on a minute. There's something to that, right? And it's just, sometimes you just got to give it some room to breathe. That's all.
Don't you remember that joke when we were younger that, because my 19-year-old listens to country and rap, and I said, you know, if you combine those, they become crap.
That's funny. Hey, Victoria, you remember this photo?
Oh, boy. I actually do remember that.
We put that one up 5 minutes ago. Yep.
You said that you put that up earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Do you remember that one? Talk about the young guy next door. You ended up marrying him. Talk about Link. Talk about you.
That's my husband. He doesn't look like that now. And my husband before he started bodybuilding.
He's huge now.
Yeah. What?
He's huge. I remember when you guys got together. We used to all hang out all the time. You know, Terry was there with us. You know, at the Hollywood Film Festival. Those were great days. But what I'm most proud of is look where we all are now. You have over 12 million views. We couldn't have done this if it weren't for Edie. You know, and finding that song. You know, your song "A Better Tomorrow," which you're going to sing in 10 seconds. And you know, "The Last Christmas Ride" and a couple other things. You know. But it's one of those things where I'm really, really happy. I love where Rachel's going. I love where Howard's going. I like what Jeff is doing. I want to have him back. And Tosh, I'm really proud of what she's doing. Obviously, and then what Terry's creating, I got something special for her. I've thought about this for a long time. But here's the thing. All right, Victoria, I love putting you on the spot. You know I'm always going to do it. You have to sing "A Better Tomorrow." And I want to know why, because people are hearing this song, but they may not know who's singing it on CNN.
You're right. I don't have a video of me. Actually, I'm going to put up the video tonight of the live performance in New York. Just to put face to name. But it actually made me really happy that without having any sort of like a physical attachment or anything at all to the song, because my lyric video is animated. I didn't even have a video to it, really. And it makes me happy that they just like the song for what it was, and it doesn't matter. But now I'll have a live version that I can put up, so I'm excited for that. Okay, you want me to sing it?
Yeah. Wait.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll start from the bridge. Here you go. Okay. We shall place we all belong. Light the way till dark is gone. Walking away still means you're strong. Rise above, hope isn't gone. Oh, we have to restore this planet's soul. Teach it something more than what we know. Give it water, give it sun, room to grow. I can see a better tomorrow.
Yay. I love that.
Your voice is so
Oh my God, that was awesome.
I absolutely love it. That's the song that you posted like a reel on yesterday, right?
Yesterday, yeah, exactly. Cool. I did. Well, I did that show about 2 months ago, and I just finally got footage for it. So I'm super excited now. I can finally post it. That dress. It's an Alexander McQueen. I did not know they were giving it to me. Well, they can't take it back. And
They gave it to you? Oh my God, I'm so jealous. Beautiful.
So, listen, when I tell you my life is a rom-com, it's a rom-com. So I'm at the airport in New York trying to get back to LA, and I'm flustered, and I leave my McQueen gown at the gate, and I walked somewhere, and I come back, and my dress was gone, and I'm freaking out, and I go to security. I'm like, help, and I'm like crying, and it was a stupid mistake. And the doors are shut at the plane, right? The doors are all shut. And I'm talking to the lady in the front, and she's like, "We've got to get this dress." And so they literally take me, and we go and find the dress because security had it stowed away. And then they open the doors back up to the plane again that had already closed. And I was just like, "Oh
if that's
my
me
God.
and Jeff, that's not happening.
No, that does not happen." I felt like I was actually living in a rom-com. Like, it was so, everybody was just being so helpful. I was such a mess, you know?
That's a cool story, though.
Yeah,
All right, we got about
doors. That was nice.
We got about 5 minutes. All right, Jeff, you're going to get the last word of this. Talk about what it's like to be an award winner, writing on Medium, the things that you've done, all of that.
You know, it's some of it's scary because I actually get hate mail, and people get very bent out of shape. And I've had everything from, you know, all you Jews should have been burned in the Holocaust. And sometimes that scares me. On the other hand, it's incredibly rewarding because I get more often than not people who read my pieces who aren't part of the attaboy crowd, but are, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea that our highway system was built that way," or "I had no idea this particular thing occurred in history," or "I had no idea there were still slave plantations in the 1960s. And so when I share that and people are actually open to change and open to learning, and thank me for and hug me when they run into me in Denver, and it's just very, I know that for the few hate mail pieces I get each week, it's more than worth it to try to advance the ball towards a more inclusive and beautiful society. And it's my lawyer job is my how in life, but this writing and my speaking to organizations is my why in life.
Social media links, go ahead.
Instagram, Jeffrey Kass 01, that's JEFFREY KASS, and my name, Jeffrey Kass. My writing, because Instagram is more music and modeling and those things. My writing is on Medium, again, Jeffrey Kass KASS. Facebook, LinkedIn. I post 1 to 2 pieces a week on these type of issues.
Terry, go ahead.
Terry Marie official is my website, and then all my social media is nonstop Terry Marie.
Howard
Wiggins Facebook. Simple as that.
And check out his dancing videos, because let's get him into dancing. Let's get him into music video. I don't see why he can't be. Victoria, I got someone. His name is Howard Wiggins.
Right.
I would love that.
All right, Victoria, social media links. Go ahead.
That sounded like a hard no to me, but that's okay. We'll just move on. What? Oh, my social. It's at Victoria Renee Hand, all across the board, except for Queen Vic on TikTok, because my TikTok got deleted, which is sad.
We won't even talk about that.
Oh no.
Oh, God.
Well, you can find me at Vocally Tosh on all social media platforms, and my website is natasharumbosmusic.com.
And Rachel Roberts Recipes, go ahead.
Guys, see you in the morning for coffee talk. And or maybe in the afternoon we'll do some cooking. Maybe. Rachel Roberts Recipes. Find me anywhere.
And if I don't mention these movies, the publicists will be upset. So Line of Fire is on demand. It's on iTunes. That's coming out now. Oh, a great documentary for everybody to see, which comes tomorrow on Netflix. It's on Bill Russell. Bill Russell, and Jeffrey, you'll like this, on Netflix, on how he started. Not only was he a great basketball player for the Celtics that I hated, but he was great when it came to the civil rights area. And it's basically really goes into that. And then another one is George and Tammy. For anybody who has not seen it on Showtime, I know Rachel has. I think Howard has seen it. This is really, really good. And one last thing, the Grammy Awards were really good last night, and I haven't watched them in years, and I haven't been in like 15 years. But I liked it because it was the 50th anniversary going into Jeffrey, what he talks about on race relationships of hip hop. It is all over the place. Jeff, if you hadn't walked in with our friend, it's at Rachel's house, we all wouldn't be connected one way or another. Rachel with Howard, Terry with Victoria, me going to Tennessee, Tosh helping everybody out. We would not be all together. And I got to say this. I got to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart because I adore and I really do love all of you guys. So when it comes to this, have a good night tonight. Have a better day tomorrow. Don't be afraid to show those high heels. Don't be afraid to show those sneakers, Jeff, and those boots, Howard, and those high heels, Terry.
This is more on Amazon.
And give everybody a smile that you see them because the world needs it. I'm Brian Sebastian. This is Movie Reviews and More, and we will see you next week.
Bye.